Title: The Wilderness Awaits. It was the dead of winter in the Alaskan wilderness, where the night stretched on for 20 hours and the cold seeped into your bones. Jenny, Mark, and Jerry, a team of seasoned paranormal investigators, had traveled far from civilization, drawn by whispers of a cursed land deep within the Arctic tundra. The area was known to the locals as the Hollow, a place where people and animals vanished without a trace, where the very air seemed to hum with something unseen and malevolent. Their goal was to document evidence of the paranormal activity that had haunted the area for centuries. Despite the warnings from the indigenous people, the team was determined to uncover the truth behind the legends. Jenny was the lead investigator, a no-nonsense woman in her early 30s with years of experience under her belt. She had a keen eye for detail and a reputation for capturing the unexplainable on film. Jerry, the skeptic of the group, had joined them on countless investigations, always looking for logical explanations, but never fully dismissing the possibility of the unknown. They arrived at their destination after a grueling 6-hour snowmobile ride from the nearest village. The area was desolate, surrounded by towering pines and thick snowdrifts. A small abandoned cabin stood as the only sign of human presence. It was their base for the night. As the team set up their equipment, the first signs of something amiss began to surface. The cabin, though abandoned for decades, felt unnervingly warm despite the freezing temperatures outside. The air inside was thick, heavy with an almost palpable tension. Mark noticed that the electromagnetic field (EMF) detector was spiking erratically, something that shouldn't happen in such an isolated location. There were no power lines, no electronic interference. It was as if the very ground beneath them was alive with energy. Jenny began to feel uneasy, a sense of being watched that she couldn't shake. She kept it to herself, not wanting to alarm the others. But as the night progressed, the feeling intensified. The wind outside howled, but inside the cabin, it was eerily silent, as if the walls were absorbing the sound. Around midnight, Jenny decided to do an EVP session. She sat in the middle of the cabin with her voice recorder, asking the usual questions. "Is anyone here with us? Do you want to communicate?" The recorder played back only static at first, but then, clear as day, a voice whispered, "Leave." Mark and Jerry, who were monitoring the live feed from the cameras, froze. They hadn't heard anything in real time, but the recorder captured it unmistakably. They played it back again. "Leave." Jerry, always the skeptic, suggested it could be radio interference. But Jenny knew better. The voice was too clear, too deliberate. Suddenly the temperature in the cabin plummeted. Their breath became visible in the air, and a deep sense of dread settled over them. Then they heard it, footsteps crunching in the snow outside, circling the cabin. Mark checked the monitors, but the cameras showed nothing, just the dark, empty wilderness. The footsteps grew louder, closer, until they seemed to be right outside the door. Jenny, her heart pounding, grabbed a flashlight and motioned for the others to stay back. She opened the door, shining the beam into the night. Nothing. The snow was undisturbed, no footprints, no sign of life. Yet the footsteps continued, now inside the cabin, echoing all around them. Panicked, they decided to leave. But as they gathered their gear, the cabin's door slammed shut on its own. The windows, though old and cracked, held firm despite their attempts to break them. It was as if the cabin had come alive, trapping them inside. Jenny screamed as something cold and unseen brushed against her arm. Mark rushed to her side, only to be yanked back by an invisible force. He was thrown across the room, slamming into the wall with a sickening thud. Jerry rushed to help him, but Mark was unconscious, his breathing shallow. The air grew thick with the stench of decay, and a low, guttural growl reverberated through the cabin. Jenny and Jerry made it back to the village, but they were never the same. Mark's body was never found. and the footage they had captured was too horrifying to share with the world. The locals refused to speak of the hollow, and the area was soon declared off-limits, another part of Alaska's vast wilderness swallowed by the unknown. Jenny and Jerry quit paranormal investigations, haunted by the events of that night. They knew that some places were never meant to be disturbed, and some shadows should never be chased. In the years that followed, the hollow remained silent, its secrets buried beneath the snow. But those who ventured too close claimed they could still hear the faint whispers of the lost and see shadows moving in the corner of their eyes, always just out of reach. Thank you. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe.